dedication from the students, but I don't see dedication from the leadership. What I see is, you want more money, you have to work harder for it. Come in earlier. So that means, if I want to actually feel physically fit and actually feel like I'm doing something, waking up at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock. Do you really want that for us? Thank you.
My friends to respect my time and please hold the applause. Thank you so much.
30 seconds, or 3 minutes, please.
Hi, my name is Ronald Cross. I work as a paraprofessional at Brookline High School and a learning center. I make a little over $17,000 a year. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. You know, this is my first year as a full-time employee for the town of Brookline. And as a learning center paraprofessional, I spend every single day helping students with IEPs keep their heads above water as they struggle with balancing learning disabilities, academic expectations, and outside responsibilities. In my specific position, I work with 60 different students throughout the day. 60 different students I touch every single day. And I can tell you every single one of their names. I know most of their dreams. I know what they struggle with, and I know what they expect from me every day. You know, I have to be on my game because if I'm off even a little bit, they're quick to call me out. Mr. C, why do you still have shaving cream on your face? Sometimes it's hard for me to be on my game, I'm not gonna lie. Because of my pay, I do have to work a second full-time job just to pay the bills. At Blanchard's Liquors in Austin, come see me. And put food on the table. But that is not an excuse to let my kids down even for a minute. And I hope you guys can hear this at home. I will not let my kids down even for a minute. There's been a lot of turnover in the special education department at Brookline High School this year. In my classroom alone, and I really thank you for your ears, in my classroom alone there have been 4 different main teachers. This has been a very destabilized environment for my kids. And I've had to juggle a lot of responsibilities to ensure that they don't slip through the cracks because they matter. I have had meetings with parents, I've sent emails, I've collaborated and strategized on how to best serve these students. I've created checklists in my own time, custom tailored to help students find new ways to make things work for them so that they can actually, graduate. That's kind of important, I come in early, I stay late so that students can make up work or take a test. I have to run around the school harassing many different teachers, trying to get printouts and check grades and try to make sure kids have everything turned in on time because they're not always organized as part of their IEP. I'm not complaining, I love these kids, but it becomes really hard to encourage them as they go out into this community to tell them that the people of this town will treat them fairly and equally, that adults will fight for them and be on their side and do what's right for them. I'm not sure how much I believe that, to then try to really instill that in them after I just got 3 hours of sleep. Holy moly. Some of the kids in my learning centers are the lowest performing students in the school. Why? Part of the reason is because as new teachers fill the role in my room and become acquainted with the position, students are struggling every day and I can't reach them all to give them the attention they deserve. By not giving employees fair pay, it becomes very difficult to maintain staff that truly serve our children. As I look around this room, I see the faces of parents that trust me to do right by their kids. And I look at this panel of school committee members, the student excluded, and I see that your stubbornness directly translates to my classroom. That your unwillingness to put a few extra dollars in my paycheck is worth the cost of jeopardizing student success. That your greed and bureaucracy stifle longevity in staff and cause me to have to train a new teacher on what's going on with these kids every 4 weeks. And at what point do you start doing your job as school committee members and keep your commitment to these parents that you will protect their children from any and all harm? Don't clap!
We're at time.
If you ask me, they need protection from you.
Yes.
I look at these kids in the eye and I see their dreams. I do my best not to let them down every day, and I need to know that you're going to do your best not to let me down starting right now.
Thank you. They're supposed to start at 8. If you can let them know that we have about 11 more people, maybe more, and that's 33 minutes each, so if they want to go get a coffee or something. Okay, next is Charlotte Craig, and then after that, Daniel DeBowie.
I'm gonna have her go next. She needs
Okay.
to go.
Okay, go ahead. Can you just tell us your name if you're on here?
Do you want to see Mr. C?
Come on, dude.
My name is Valerie Frias, and I'm a proud Driscoll parent, and that young man over there is the one-to-one para for my son Jake. He's the reason that I'm in the room tonight. I had no intention of coming to the school committee tonight, but when I heard what a pittance he made, I was horrified. He's the reason that my son is succeeding in any manner at Driscoll School right now. Without him, he wouldn't be happy at all at the school. He is integrated into the classroom. They have a connection like no other. I've met paras in this room who are helping me to entertain them who don't know me or my kids from a hole in the wall, but just out of the goodness of our heart we're doing it, and I thank all of you for doing that, for being here, and for taking care of our kids. I really, as a parent of 2 kids with ASD, want to impress upon you the huge role that paras play in the success, or the lack thereof, for our students. $16,000 a year. We're going on Veterans Day. That young man over there is a veteran, and I want to thank him for his service to my child, to his district, and to the country. I want to make sure that there's a path for him to stay in Brookline, and it doesn't look, based on anything that I've seen, that there's a path for him to stay in Brookline. There's a path for him to go to Newton and to make $40,000 in 10 years, which still isn't enough money. But there's a path there. I don't want him to go down the street. I want him to stay in Brookline and stay with our kids. Thank you.
Charlotte Craig. And then next is Daniel DeBowie.
You should probably take him over.
I think that proves our point.
You can pick up the microphone if you don't want to bend over. Thank you. It's your choice.
Good evening. My name is Charlotte Craig, and I'm an occupational therapist that works in BEAT, Brookline Early Education Program. I'm here tonight to share information and support the much-needed increase in salary for our paraprofessionals. Paraprofessionals are essential to our functioning as a school system. They're on the front line of working with students. They are crucial to carrying over the skills I work on with special needs students in therapy. They are the busiest people I know and have a very complex job. Everything from engaging children in math, art, writing activities, interacting with children to facilitate their language skills with peers, helping students take a sensory break, assisting with toileting, snack time, cleaning, taking data for us, helping to make classroom materials, and on and on and on. Recently, I know of 2 examples of our staff lost to Newton Public Schools. These were loyal, talented individuals who left not because they were dissatisfied with working in the Brookline programs, but simply because they could no longer afford to get paid so much less per hour in Brookline. Newton pays their starting paraprofessionals $17.25 per hour, and Brookline pays $15.40. Step 8, the gap widens. Newton $24.38, Brookline $20.14. Step 14, Newton $34.71. Brookline still $20.14 because we only have 8 steps. Wow. You do the math. It concerns me greatly that we are currently understaffed with paras in several BEAP classrooms, and it has been difficult to hire paras at the low salary we are offering to take these positions. They are remaining unfilled for longer periods of time, sometimes with substitutes and sometimes not. When we disrespect paras by not paying them enough and considering their positions as revolving door positions, the classroom loses its stability. Working with the special education students in BEAP requires the development of a specialized skill set. Our paras are trained by teachers and therapists, by in-services and by courses. Losing dedicated paras because of salary directly impacts our students' learning and functioning. as it takes new staff months to come up to speed developing the specialized skills our kids need to access the curriculum.
30 seconds.
This is not daycare or simply free play. This is a well-coordinated learning environment within which our paraprofessionals provide a solid foundation and stability for our students. It is time to increase their pay to a living wage. They deserve this and more for all they do. Thank you for your time.
Daniel DeBowie and then Kate Buddett.
Hi, I'm Dan Debowy, and I'd like to thank everybody at home for staying tuned in here. With the forgiveness of the crowd, I'd like to actually thank Chairman Wolf Didkoff for two things. One is the data that we've finally seen tonight, and I'd actually like to thank the entire school committee for showing that stuff tonight. That was very helpful for all the parents. I am a Brookline parent. My daughter will be going into kindergarten next year. I'm a Brookline homeowner. And I'm also a psychiatrist, so I'm not used to actually speaking this much in public. I have bad news for everybody at home and here. This has been a tough week, as Chairman Wolf Didkoff has alluded to. And really the question now is, what do we do? What do we do when the empathy that we're going to get at the federal level is inadequate or even backwards? What are we going to do when we actually face the fact that we live in a state that's amazingly progressive, but who also has some members of government at the top, without dinging any particular political party, that provide minimal empathy in their governance? What we do as a diverse community, what we have to do is hard work. We have to be the ones to be progressive if the higher levels of government will not be. And I am shocked and saddened to see these numbers that are supposedly